experience with you. And actually, we are super happy to see people from all over the world. I saw Canada, Peru, and hi to everyone. We're super happy you're with us today. One like few more technical questions after Vasily. I would like to add that we would like to ask you to keep muted your microphone in order to keep a good quality of the sound. And as Vasily told questions, you can keep your questions and we will definitely ask them in the end of the webinar. But there will be also some interactive moments because we would like to keep communication with you to know more of what you think about some things. So we would ask you to write your replies here in chat and we're gonna follow them and we're gonna read these replies. So let's then start. First, I would like to ask the participants how many of the guests are maybe KMPs or have finished KSD class of Kanban, Kanban system design class. Well, how people are familiar with Kanban, or maybe in general knowledge of Kanban. So anyone who is KMP can just write KMP or KSD, or just I know Kanban, or I know Kanban really well. Just for us to know how many people are familiar with Kanban. Great. I see KMPs. Hi, Samir. KMP, TKP, okay. Camping rate, PCP, perfect. Camping. Great, this is really amazing. Well, from our side, we really know well that the approach we're going to be showing really works well for Kanban, but if someone of our guests is using other methods, I believe the approach of prioritizing tasks may also work well for other methodologies. So a few words about me. I believe probably people who registered in Meetup, they have already seen a few words about me. In short, I've used to work for several international companies and agencies in communication, advertisement, and marketing. In my current position at Mauvisoft, actually, I discovered the Kanban method, which I truly believe is an answer to a lot of questions and is helping us to really organize things. Because in my previous positions, it really occurred to me several times how to make things work better. And I have found that Kanban is a really good reply to that. By now, in terms of Kanban, I have only KSD level. But don't start leaving the meeting. Today we have with us Ania Radzikowska. She also speaks Polish for those who would like to ask Kanban questions in Polish. And she gonna definitely pick up those questions after that. But because of working for really a while with David G. Anderson and David G. Anderson School of Management, I also know already quite a lot about Kanban. So I will be happy to answer the questions too. Our agenda, as far as you had seen, also 45 minutes, we're gonna explain you the main part and hopefully cover also Q&A questions, questions and answers, interactive exercise, and after we're gonna have some online after party. I would really love to have some tea to talk with people, to get the feedback and to know what really did you like an approach, will you use it? Well, it's an after party, so let's have fun, but it's later. So a kind reminder for those who didn't download yet an application Ether poster. This is a slide to remind you that it would be really good if you do that, because we're going to have interactive exercise and we wouldn't like to leave you with empty hands after this webinar. So for this interactive exercise, you will need either app, either poster, and we have prepared some presents. So if you haven't downloaded yet, it would be nice if you do it right now. Meanwhile, we are presenting. You can use, you can scan a QR code to download an app, or you can download the poster using the download form through the website. It's super easy. You just need to fill it in, and the email with all the options of the poster gonna come to your mailbox. There are several languages, so and including also Polish. Thanks to Anna Radzetowska. After that, I would like to ask you, in your opinion, and to share with me via chat, how would you defer a priority? How would you call the priority? What occurs to you when you hear a word priority? The ones who doesn't want to share or to write in a chat, just keep a few seconds and reflect. What is priority for you? And it would be nice if someone actually would write down in the chat his option. Okay, most important thing, the customer needs are willing to pay. Okay, the most ASAPiest thing. Okay, a vague, misleading term. Okay, the most important thing. Okay, great. So there are people who are really listening to us, not as a background noise. This is important. So it is important and urgent. Okay, great. So the meaning of priority, as we can see and as we can feel, it's mostly about some kind of feelings. It's emotional aspect, what normally occurs to us when we think or understand the priority. But it is not necessarily actionable. That's why actually we in Kanban, we would like to be more precise about priority, because priority is actually mean what we do, how we treat the request if it's a priority. It's about sequencing. What does it go before or after? About scheduling. When should we start an item? About selection. Which should we pick to start first in between different working items? And the classes of service. How do we treat this item according to its specifics and in between themselves? The triage, of course, when we have the challenge of selection and sequencing, it's actually, and it requires triage. What is triage? Just a small background. The well-established techniques in emergency, which is well known. A patient comes to the hospital, gonna definitely make a quick analysis of or if later, then when, or shouldn't be treated at all. Is a treatment actually needed? Is needed. This technique the Crimean War, and it occurred that was a huge change in the war. The rifled barrel was a new technology that was really affecting a lot of people, and they were highly injured, and the injuries were like super dramatic. The amount of affected people was much higher than before. And so the field hospitals were super overwhelmed with amounts of patients, and there were not sufficient doctors or facilities to treat everyone. That's why this technique was developed, and it had three categories: to treat this soldier now, and if to treat this soldier now immediately here, we can save his life. To treat him later, because this soldier, he kind of needs attention here in the field hospital, but he won't die within the nearest minutes. So, and later, and not at all. And not at all with two subcategories. Either this patient gonna die regardless of what we do, or he can be transported to a hospital behind the lines and be treated there. The triage and sequencing of the tasks is to decide to start work on the request, this one in particular, but not others. To decide between the requests, which to start now, which to defer until so when, and what not to do at all, because either it's gonna die regardless of what we do. So this kind of work probably doesn't worth spending time. Here we would like also to explain you a bit about understanding the delivery delay cost, because it is important, and probably a lot of you, well, KCP is gonna tell me more about it definitely, but I'm sure that a lot of people, KMPs or people who are using other methods, also heard about delivery delay costs. We're going to explain it from the side we use it in Kanban and with Kanban. First, let's start with lead time distribution. Here on the screen, you can see two types of lead time distribution. First, it is important to understand that lead time, it is actually as a time from a moment when we are committed to do something till the time we're actually delivering it. This is a simple explanation. But it is important to understand that this is not a single number. It is a curve. It is a probability distribution. Here on the screen, you can see two types of probability distributions. In fact, this is real data of real companies. And I'm going to tell you straight away that the one you can see on the left, this is a bad one. Why it is a bad one? It is called fat-tailed, even though you may not really think it is a fat-tailed, because it has a super long tail. But mathematically, it is called fat-tailed. To remember it, is it just fat? It's bad. The problem is always in the tail. And this is a simple mantra we always use working with Kanban, and it's easy to remember. So in case of this example, you're going to see that lead time has a very long tail. In this particular example, the lead time is from 1 day till 77 days. Which means that the work item may be treated either today, either during next 77 days. If to analyze the data of this company, it's going to show us that the 50% of items are actually treated during the 6 days. But with a thin-tailed lead time distribution, if you are not lucky and you are not in this first 50%, then your item may be dealt with starting from the 7th day to 77th day, which is like more than 2 months. On the right hand, you can see the thin-tail distribution, which is much more reliable. It is much, like the tail is shorter. We're going to exclude these small particles because like we know that in this case, we really can exclude it. With this kind of lead time, with this curve, you can actually predict something. You can actually rely on your process. It is much shorter, so this lead time is much better to have. After, we need to know how long it will in order to choose the item in general, we need to know how long it will take before the item will be delivered, because the longer it takes to deliver, the more delayed it's gonna be. So here we're gonna see an example. This example may be familiar also already for Kanban specialists, but definitely it's going to be useful to see for those who may be not that familiar with Kanban and Kanban studies. In this example, we're going to show you the Eastern promotional company of a hotel, of a hotel chain. The idea is that the chain of the hotels wants to have a marketing campaign before the Easter holidays and to sell the room numbers for the weekend on the Easter. To have enough time, they need to start in January. Their lead time gonna be like 100 days. And so this means it's their life cycle. And they estimate that they're gonna sell kind of all their room numbers during that time, but they also anticipate that the most profit they're gonna get closer to their deadline, because Easter holidays are actually their deadline in this case. Which means we can see here a backloaded curve. Here we're gonna receive more value in this case in the end before the deadline. In the second period, we will have much more income. Life cycle period, as I told you already, it is here, it is our time, and it's like 100 days in our case, 90 or 100 days. And we anticipate to sell all 1,000 rooms during this time, and mathematically, the maximum we're gonna sell will be 58 rooms per day. But something happened, and let's imagine, for instance, that our marketing campaign wasn't ready in time, and we had a delay. Instead of starting, for instance, in January, we had started in February, which means we have much less time to make a profit of it. We started our marketing campaign, and as a result, we have sold a fewer number of hotel rooms than we actually expected before that, which means we gained less. So that was our estimated additional rooms sold, and here inside we can see what we have actually sold. So this is our delay cost. The difference between what we planned to sell and actually sold is known as a delay cost. Because there is a delay, we have lost an opportunity. And the idea is that delay actually increases. As a delay increases, as much increases the cost of this delay. It means how much do we lose as a consequence as a delay increase. So the cost of delay is also not a number, it is a curve. Here on this slide, for a convenience, to make it more visual, from a backloaded curve, we have changed it to a front-loaded curve, so it's gonna be more easy to understand. And here you can clearly see that during our 100 days of life cycle, the delivery delay cost happens every 20 days, and it's 20% every 20 days. Which means that during the first 20 days, the delay costed us 400, for instance, euro, right? The next one, only 250, but together it will be already 650, and so on and so on and so on. So this is a delivery delay cost. The thing is that after that, there is a lot of mathematics behind it. And to understand it, if we plot a delay, we see its cost, we're gonna receive a concave curve, which gonna show us a delay cost function, which means a delay in a delivery. So this curve gonna explain us what already happened. But normally we don't control when we finish things, but we control when we start something, when we start doing something. And therefore, by David J. Anderson and his team, was developed mathematically counted probable cost of delay in starting. Right now, we have seen only, I would say, two types of value acquisition functions, the backloaded one, and right now we see the front-loaded one in this current example with the cost of delay. But in fact, there are much more value acquisition functions that were developed due to cases that exist, due to our examples that Kanban specialists observe. And right now, I believe we have 11 patterns. We're going to come back to them later. From this 11, the probable cost of delay in starting was calculated one of the scenario, which means that we can identify the probability for different units. Out of these calculations, the whole, as I told before, for early years of discovery, analysis, and calculations, and as well simplifying things to make it accessible, usable, and visual. You can see it in Triage tables poster behind me, and as well it works as an online application, which actually its basis is also Triage tables. So let's have a look how to work with Triage tables that relies on this mathematic approach. First, a kind reminder for those who didn't download the poster yet. As we already said, it is quite nice and beautiful, and it's free. You can download it from the website. And if you didn't do it yet, it's a great time to do that. Because we will ask you to try to work with it during our exercise later on. So I believe people who didn't have it may already started doing that. There are a lot of language version available, not only Spanish and English. You're gonna see there Polish, Chinese as well even, and other languages. So let's start with the patterns that I have mentioned before. We have here, I believe, 11 our patterns. This is called value acquisition function, which actually describes our value acquisition opportunity. How do we actually gain the value? Let's start with the first one. It is called one-off opportunity with an expiry date, which means you have one impulse and unique opportunity to gain money, to earn money, to gain a benefit, to make a profit. But this is a unique opportunity. If you're not gonna take it, you're gonna, either you take it, either you lose it. For example, just an example that I always use for this case, you have your agency and you have your client, and your client is saying, hey, I have some leftovers of the budget till the next financial year gonna come, and I want to use these leftovers for extra project with you. So you understand, either you're taking this opportunity and you make it during, I don't know, the next 2 weeks. Either the next financial year for your client comes and this money just gonna vanish. So either you take this opportunity and gain money, either you don't. Very front loaded. As you have seen before that, we had it turned to show you the cost of delay. This case means that during all your life cycle of your product, the most profit you're gonna have, like 80% of the benefit, you're gonna make during the 20% of the life cycle. Here we use a good example of a ski manufacturer that actually make ski models every year, and in November. And the skis, so during all the year he's working on that. But the skis are sold in the first 3 months of what is 1 year life cycle in this case. So he can sell it during all the year, but only first 3 months will be what really makes a profit for him. Front loaded, it's like the same, but instead of 20%, you will have a 50%. I mean, the 50% of the life cycle of the product gonna bring you the most benefit out of it. Here we used a bicycle example. The same, they can be sold during the whole year, but before the season starts, like half a year, they are mostly sold. Bell curve with no catch-up. What it means? You can imagine that in this case there is a first mover advantage. For instance, your company have developed some kind of breakthrough technology, and this new technology gonna really bring you values. It gonna really brings you sales. For instance, it may be mobile telephones, new function, or some technical function, because in this case, it's probably the most applicable. And you understand that other competitors, they won't catch up with you, at least not that fast. So you will have your advantage, and it's going to be for a really while until you can create something the same, or maybe have some patent on something. So this is your bell curve life cycle value acquisition function with first mover advantage. The next one is the same, but you understand that your competitors gonna easily catch up after you. So they're gonna copy you, or they're gonna invent some technologies that are gonna be super similar or like to yours. So you understand that you may be the first one on the market to do that, but others gonna catch up and catch up fast. Backloaded function. This function really works well with things with deadlines, like in our Easter marketing campaign example. We understood that we have a deadline, it is Easter, and we know that people won't really be starting booking their trip, Easter weekend holiday in January. Well, some may do, but normally, mostly people are gonna wake up to do that later on before the particular event or case or holiday gonna happen. It may also be a concert or something like that. The next one is very backloaded. Actually, concert case much better works here, because one thing is to plan your weekend somewhere out of the city. The other thing is the way people normally treat the events. We don't always know our plans. That's why we prefer to buy it like much more later. So this is the same case but as with very front loaded, but the other way around. The 80% of the benefit is realized in last 20% of the life cycle. As I told, events, concerts, when you sell the most tickets in the very end, kind of events. Concentrate. This is a very interesting value acquisition lifecycle function, which means that you constantly have some kind of savings. For example, you have IT company for a small amount of people, and you have some amount of money spent all the time to maintain this company being in process. One day you needed to reduce amount of people, maybe they quit, but to keep the same amount of work, you have updated your technology. So the same amount of people is doing the same amount of work is being done by less amount of people, which means you have the same income, but your expenses are less. So you have a constant rate of savings. So you have a extra income, I would say. Bell curve extended decaying life, decaying loyalty. I will try to make it faster, not to stop a lot on value acquisition functions catalog. We also understand that there are cases on a market when delay doesn't really affect an income that much. It can be due to some kind of monopolies of technology or some kind of exclusivity on the market that people are really eager to wait, and the life cycle can be extended the benefit won't be that affected in this case. For instance, as we see with the first one, bell curve, extended decay in life, decay in loyalty. This is really works well for mobile phones, laptop, tablets, because people are eager to wait for their favorite brand to come up with the newest technology, for instance, processor, video clip, etc. Even though maybe someone else already has it, but they prefer their own brand, and they're gonna wait until their favorite brand come up with the same thing. So in this case, the delay won't affect the income that much, because there is a loyalty normally, and the old technologies will just gonna die because of their own life cycle, because just they're outdated, they're gonna replace themselves. Bell curve, extended life, decline, loyalty. These are the cases when we do have a monopoly on the and actually, this is a good case also with the concerts, with the music groups. If you have your favorite group album, here we make an example with Depeche Mode. And if you're waiting for a new album and there is a delay, you will still be waiting for that album, and they will still make a profit. And so the delay doesn't affect that much making a benefit out of the sale. However, the longer the delay is, eventually the loyalty may drop off. You can forget about this music album. Either you won't buy it anymore. So eventually the loyalty drops and loyalty is decaying. Last minute decay. This is a case when the delay doesn't affect really that much. It had to be something super special. I don't know, Jennifer Lopez or someone else super famous concert was announced instead of 3 months beforehand in 1 week, and still the ticket's gonna be sold unless the super late delay. So these, in general, are the main life cycle value acquisition functions that we currently have. And I hope they are clear. The idea of using triage tables is when you need it, when you need to use it, you out of this catalog of value acquisition lifecycle functions, you have to choose the one that the most reflect your task that you want to verify, that you want to work with, that you're about to start. Which one of those are the closest to your task? And let's go to probably the most interesting part. It's our exercise. Let's try to work with triage tables. Imagine you intend to introduce a variant of your social collaborative games aimed at parents with children aged from 2 to 4 years. You anticipate a 5-year life cycle. It may take from 9 months up to 1 year to create and launch. You want to launch in November 2021, next year for the holiday buying season. Your lead times are fat-tailed due to external dependencies, but there is no hard deadline. The feature is your new product, unique and differentiating, but not easily protected by patent or registered design. Hence, you expect competitors will copy you in 1 to 2 product cycles later. Assume start today with launch on the 1st of November 2021. So, to use the triage tables, as you have seen already on the poster, here we have a short guide on how to use it and the steps you need to go one by one. Right now, we're going to go through all the steps together with you. The first step is to choose a lifecycle value function that we have been just talking about. Let's see. Do you know which one we would choose for this particular exercise, for this particular case? Which value acquisition function seems to you most likely to be the case of our exercise? Maybe someone can write to the chat. I would like to see if anyone remember our functions, or if people are still keep listening to us. Okay.
Maybe I will just add that the tip is in the dot one from the bottom.
Okay, dot one from the bottom.
Yeah. So the feature is your new product, unique and differentiating, but not easily protected by patent.
Yay!
Yes. And we got the answer.
Yeah, we got the answer. Thank you to Marcin Lelek. Yes, this is a bell curve. Great. This is a bell curve with SketchUp. So here we have chosen our bell curve with SketchUp. The next step for us is to identify the shelf life ratio. As far as you remember, we were talking about our shelf life ratio, and we remember that the life cycle is 5 years. And the lead time is from 9 months till 1 year, which gives us, well, will anyone write it, or I should say it straight away?
Maybe let's give a few seconds for the answer.
Okay, so the lead time is from 9 months to 1 year. Well, we can assume 1 year straight away. And the life cycle period is 5 years. Yeah, thank you, Vasily. Long one, right? Yes, this is it. This is a long one. Lead time 1, life cycle period is 5. Lead time 1 year, life cycle period is 5. So as far as you remember from the guide, we have 2 steps. This guide. We have 2 steps of determining the class of service. The first part, the first step, is to identify the default class of service, which we can easily do just by knowing shelf life ratio and function. So the default class of service will be here. And let's save the time and do it all together. So we have bell curve with SketchUp, which is number 2 here, and we have the long standard class of service. But that's not it, because just with this information, it's not enough to be precise in our estimations, because well, here I can explain you what does it mean, the standard one. We have developed 4 types of classes of service due to the math of David G. Anderson and his team. These classes of service is actually a ticket of stickers, the color of sticker you can use for your Kanban board. Either it is a real one, either it is a virtual one, and this color is gonna definitely tell you visually straight away how to treat the item needed. What do they mean? What is behind those graphics that you see here of different colors? The expedite. Well, from the very name, you already can understand that this is a case when we really need to expedite, when we need to hurry up. When there is a case that this item had to be treated urgently, immediately, and some Kanban boards may even have a separate swim lane for urgent expedite classes of service tickets. So this is something super urgent, and you see this actually means a cost of delay function, and you see that this cost of delay function, you see the risk, and the cost of delay is immediate and goes straight away after the deadline. Fixed date. The cost of delay goes up significantly after the deadline, which means that if you're gonna have a delay, your cost of delay gonna raise dramatically after the deadline. just dramatically. Normally, the fixed date is the tickets that we treat with a deadline a lot, because we do have something fixed in there that we need to hurry up. So it is after expedite, it is more urgent. If Anya may have some comments, she may also add, definitely. Okay, good. The standard tickets. Standard ticket is normally our regular working item, our standard working items. But they, of course, definitely have their urgency, and the cost of delay is maybe shallow, but it really accelerates the full leveling out, which means the more delay you're gonna have, the cost gonna be raising. Maybe it's not that steep, but still it will be raising a bit and a bit and a bit, the longer delay you have. Intangible. This is probably the least urgent among all the four classes of service, but less important. Why? Because a cost of delay in this case may be significant, but it doesn't occur until later, and if it occurs at all in general. That's why this item may be treated less urgently, but in any case it has to be done, because if it's not done, it will have consequences. For instance, if you have technologies that it is outdated and you don't want to update it, you may really postpone it for a while, and there will be no consequences until you will face the situation when you really need the last version of the product, and otherwise something doesn't work. And this case, it's already expedited, so the cost of delay is raised dramatically at this point. How does time, when to start, influence on our result? Here you can see our start date ranges. Let's have a look where we actually are currently right now due to our example. We were saying that our delivery is 1st of November, which is here, the delivery date in blue, as you see. And our lead time, I'm sorry, is, well, let's assume 1 year. Today we have a September, which means we are 1 year and 1 month before the desired delivery date, right? Which gives us, if you see, normal is 100, from 100 of lead time till 85% of the lead time, which means we are here, we're period, because we still have more than 100% of the lead time. We still have more than 1 year before the desired delivery date. So remember early. How start dates affect the class of service? Remember these two functions I have showed you before, thin-tailed and fat-tailed one. If you remember from our example, the case of our example was a fat-tailed due to dependencies. In this case, we go with a fat-tailed. And the life hack is, if you don't have a data or you're not sure in your data, it's better to assume fat-tailed distribution to just in case to have a backup. So we are going with fat-tailed. This is a modifier table for the thin-tailed one, but we are going to the fat-tailed one. We know that we are in early period. We don't have a deadline in our case. These are the part of customers' expectations. We don't have a deadline in our case. Our customers are not really waiting for our product. It's not a SAP. Our clients won't have a zero tolerance. So we have a delivery within SLA, service level agreement, or SLE, service level expectations. Given early and within SLA, our position on the board don't change. Let's assume that our lead time is actually reliable. That instead of thin-tailed, we have a fat-tailed lead time distribution. Oh, sorry, instead of fat-tailed, we have a thin-tailed lead time distribution. How are we gonna change our result? We are in early period, we have SLA, and we need to move down on one cell in our table. Let's come back to our table. You remember we had a bell curve with SketchUp. It was long, lifecycle shelf life ratio, sorry. So we were here. If we need to move down on one, we're gonna have intangible. What does it show it to us? It shows us that in case of reliable lead time, when we really can predict and rely on our process, this item we can treat as tangible. We don't need to rush right now to do that, to do that item, to work on this item. Instead of it, if we do have a reliable lead time, we can postpone start working on this item in this case. Well, in the case of fat-tailed one, we have to treat it as a standard. So here is a reminder about our classes of service that you have seen before. And you already remember that we can use it as a colors of the stickers for a board. And here how it works in real life with real physical boards. Here service tickets. You see, it's a fixed date. Here is a standard ones. Here are the intangible tasks. And this is actually the real one of our one of our partners that works with Kanban. So as a class of service is really important because it can give you a visual understanding where are the urgent tasks on your board and where are intangible tasks and how to work with them. But if you remember, the intangible tasks are not the ones to be postponed because the consequences may go up. And so in this case, in example of this team, they have an agreement to choose a certain amount of intangible tickets every replenishment meeting. So you do see intangible tickets on the board in process. Let's have a look how to work with an application in this case. And to make it easier for everyone, I guess just first I'm gonna remind you to download an application. To make it easier, you can just scan the QR code and you're gonna definitely go straight away to App Store and you just can easily download it. Or you can look for it in App Store let's share the video to see how to work with an application.
Hi, my name is Deriazhna and I'm Product Marketing Manager of Menta Triage DC, the application that will help you to determine the class of service of your work item using the triage tables. Let's have a look how it works. Here is it, Menta Triage DC application from Mauvisoft. The first screen is a menu of services, Kanban boards, programmed in a lead time form. You can save several Kanban boards data, all displayed on the screen. To end the service, simply click on the plus button in the right top of the screen and choose your data. The shape of lead time curve is it a thin or fat-tailed one. You can also use the pop-up hints to remind yourself and choose the fat-tailed. This will be the real data from a real company from one of our case studies. Minimum lead time is 1 hour, maximum 77 days. And here we can see the percentile. The app will automatically calculate the percentile due to your data, but you can also choose to dial it manually. And of course, we need to input how many hours is there in our working day. So then we press Save. The system will automatically redirect us to the calculator to calculate the class of service. Let's imagine that right now we are at a replenishment meeting, whatever replenishment meeting for this Kanban board is. For instance, we would like to launch a small Kanban book at the next Kanban conference in India this year. We expect this book to be popular the first days during the conference and maybe a few more weeks after that. To determine the class of service for this task, we need to start with choosing the corresponding lifecycle value function which best matches this work item. In our case, it is very front-loaded time. The lifecycle period in our case is 1 year because we want to update this book every year for each Kanban conference in India. Desired delivery date is the conference, which is planned for the 1st of December, and we would probably like to have this book ready by the 3rd of December. Custom expectations. We do have a deadline in our case, right? Start date. If we are saying that we are at a replenishment meeting right now, let's have a look what will be the class of service if we start this task today. And it is a fixed date, which means that cost of delay will go up significantly after the deadline. There is no surprise here because we are dealing with a fat-tailed lead time curve. Let's have a look at the result for the thin-tailed one. We have 1 hour as a minimum and 22 days as a maximum lead time here. Let's go to the calculator and input the very same data and calculate the result. Well, here we have standard class of service, which means that we can treat this work item as a standard class of service if we have thin-tailed lead time curve. Let's see if the class of service is going to change if we start, for instance, in July. Well, no, so we can still treat it as a standard. And October? Still standard. November? We still have standard. As long as we are getting closer to the deadline, let's try to identify the moment where our class of service is going to change. Let's say the 17th, still standard, and the 18th is already a fixed date. So we have found our changing point, which means if we start working on this item before the 17th of November, we can treat it as a standard. But if we start after the 18th, it already has more risk, so it should be treated as a fixed date. Knowing that, with the help of the application, you will be able to easily decide what to do now, what to leave until later, and if so when, and what not to do at all. The application will serve you as a small advisor and will work as a pocket calculator, giving you an instant answer. Whenever you go, while at a replenishment meeting, the correct answer will be always there for you, just at your fingertips. If you have any more questions left, please visit our website mauvisoft.com or contact us through the contact forms there. Don't forget to subscribe to our newsletter so we can keep you informed about our updates, new releases and related information. If you like an application, please rate it in your app store. We would be happy to receive your feedback.
Okay, I hope it wasn't that boring and you really watched it. And I hope it was clear and you managed to understand, because it's not that easy to show how to work with an application through the webinar, because you can't actually share the screen of your phone, but you can show the video. So I hope it was clear. It's super easy. It's the same 2 steps. First the lead time data and then the calculator itself. And I believe people who already downloaded an application could try it. And now this is the most interesting part. And here we have, the drums, because
for sure the most exciting.
Yeah, well, at least for us, because we were preparing about it with Anna. We had a call all the time. We were thinking what to do, and I hope you're gonna like it, because really we were trying to invest time and efforts in the exercise and in what you're gonna get after it. So right now it's gonna be an interactive exercise, and we would ask you to open the posters that you have downloaded in PDF, or open an application if you have an application. It doesn't actually matter what kind of tool you're going to use. And we're going to give you an exercise, something like we have showed you before, how we went through all the steps all together. But we would ask you to do it yourself, to go through the steps either in app, either through the poster. And write to the chat the correct answer. Well, the answer you have. But the first 4 correct answers will receive something special from us. We encourage you to start working on this exercise. I think, well, probably from 5 to 10 minutes will be enough. Maybe it will be even less. And please write your answers in the chat. So after that, the first 4 correct answers, this is important, the correct ones, gonna receive something special. Okay, let's go. So 5 minutes to do that.
Yeah, but for the next time, we need to create some playlist to play in the background, like some music in the elevators. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But I already got the answer, so
Write
not
it.
sure.
Write it.
Write it into the chat. Everyone who got the answer, please write it to the chat. So Vasily,
Let's hope I'm right.
We don't give the answers, correct answer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
let's see.
yeah, let's see. We would need like 3 more person to come up with an okay, create another answer.
Don't copy my answer, Martin. I'm not right. I believe like I'm really wrong.
Well, the thing is that the correct answer will be revealed only after we have all four correct ones. Okay.
Okay, good. Just last moment to write your answer and to win the prize.
Last moment.
Yep.
So we have a fixed date from Vasily, we have fixed date from Marcin, we have standard from Paulina, and we have fixed date from Jersey. Let's wait for some more replies. And like quite a few more, because we only calculate the correct ones.
You guys, could you just let us know if someone is like finishing?
Yeah, to know, should we wait?
Yep. Or we can proceed.
Yep.
Fixed date. One more. Okay.
One more fixed date. Okay. So let's probably start here. The correct answer is fixed date. We do have 4 correct answers. Yay!
Congratulations.
The only one we have standard answer from Paulina. Paulina, could you please write us in the chat, what did you use? Was it poster or was it application? And after, probably during our after party, we can discuss what went wrong, why the answer wasn't fixed date. But yes, it is fixed date. So right now we can try to do the same, assuming that we have a same-tailed lead time distribution. If we do have still with us enthusiasts who can try to do it again, but just change the tail, make it more reliable. The next 3 correct answers. Okay, Paulina, I think that probably you have changed something when you were dialing the data the second time, and that's why you had a standard one. Sometimes if we omit some kind of detail, it may be. If you can try the app again to recalculate it, actually try to recalculate it with a thin-tailed lead time distribution, and maybe you will be the first one with the correct answer, and you will also receive something from us. We would love to give you something. And here goes the waiting music as an elevator. Okay, Vasily has a standard one. Okay, that was a fixed date. Great. Paulina, can you try with the thin-tailed? The same data, but the tail this time will be thin-tailed, not a fat-tailed. So thin-tailed distribution, which means the process is more reliable. What if we would normally work on this kind of books games all the time, and we really know our lead time and it is reliable, and we can apply a thin-tailed distribution? So would it be different? Standard, says Agnieszka. Okay. Okay, Paulina, if you want to try with a thin-tailed, you can write your reply as well. Or anyone else who can try the same data with thin-tailed. Let me come back to an exercise for your convenience. Expedite.
Okay, so
Okay, guys, so the last chance to write your answer.
yeah, last
Yep.
20 seconds.
Do verify the dates. What the date is today, and when is actually our delivery, and the years that today we have 2020, and the delivery will be in 2021. Okay, Marcin says it is standard.
Okay, so I will do the counting like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.5, 1. Okay.
Okay, let's reveal the answer, right? So that was a fixed date for the first option with a fat-tailed, but when we apply the thin-tailed, we have a standard class of service. So Paulina, let's decide, let's discuss with you during our after party what maybe the data that actually confused you. I think this is just dates.
Yeah, or we can always show how it was done, maybe the guys who did it correctly.
Yeah, but this is actually normal because sometimes you don't notice something and you may just put a wrong data. That's why definitely it's better to verify several times and to see really did we dial everything correctly. Or we can also use the poster as well. As you have seen, the steps are kind of the same and it's also convenient. So, and we're coming to our most interesting part, which is our winners get, our lucky 7 will get the first one, who was actually Vasily, who was the first who gave us the correct answer, will get a hard copy of a new Kanban maturity model book. That is actually in process of printing right now. So it will be still warm, Vasily, when it's gonna arrive to you, you will still feel the warmth of printers. And the other 6 fastest participants will get a half-year subscription to Kanban Plus learning platform that will be launched soon. Still warm will be when you're gonna have the access. Here I would like to give the word to Anna Radzikowska, who's gonna explain more about Kanban learning platform, what you actually get access to, and what is a huge value, why you are really super lucky. And everyone who gave us the correct answers, which was Vasily definitely, also Marcin Lelek, Jerzy Korpiewnicki. I'm super sorry if I'm wrong with surnames. Just please don't be offended. Then Agnieszka Olezniczak, if I'm not mistaken, and Marcin Lelek again. I think you can have two access and you can share with someone, or you're gonna tell to whom we're gonna, from you, we can give the access to the platform.
Yeah, and the same of Agnieszka and Vasily. So let's figure out later how we'll share it.
So probably
Okay,
for people to do not say that I'm using my position in a kind of Poland to get all the best gifts and etc. So I'm just stepping out, let's say. So that's like I believe the book can go to Martin instead of me.
let's
This
talk.
is going to be pretty fair. Yeah. So we
Let's
can
talk offline.
discuss.
Yeah,
cool.
you will decide, because actually you get both, because you were the first with the book and you were the first with the second answer, so you also can a platform. Well, you will decide it with yourself using Polish probably.
But guys, write to us. I'm sorry, just write to us, or maybe on LinkedIn or on Meetup or on Facebook, just to provide your email address or some contact information.
Yes.
Because not for everyone will have the contact details. Yeah.
Yeah, and or you can write to Anna. You see her email right now, and you see her online. Amazing and beautiful. So
Okay, let's move to KMM Plus.
yeah.
Because of blushing right now, so you know the stuff.
Oh.
So KMM Plus, you see different colors because it's, KMM Plus will be in the Mauvisoft products family. So we'll have also information about the KMM Plus at mauvisoft.com, but we'll be using different colors than for Menta Triage decision support. So here are the colors of our KMM Plus, which is our completely new product, and it's not yet available. So probably you are one of the first in the world who hear about it. And you will be one of the first in the world who will receive access to it already to our alpha version, not even beta, but alpha version, which we hope to release in October, so fingers crossed for it. So Diana, can you move to the next slide?
Sure.
KMM Plus, what we release right now, will be the whole book content, which will be mapped to posters. So you are probably aware of our KMM posters. One of them is Triage tables poster, but there are many more, like culture poster, practices, managed evolution, outcomes, benefits, overview poster, and you can also expect some more posters from us, which are in progress of designing or creating. So probably 3-4 more posters till the end of the year. And these posters actually strictly relate to the content of the book. And what you will be able to see when you log into this application, you will see the poster in the application, and this poster will be interactive. So you'll be able to click on any place in the poster, and you will receive more information behind the element of the poster. So say you have the practices poster, where you have list of all of the practices, which are described in Kanban maturity model book. And by clicking on each of these practice, you will receive a pop-up window with information about this particular practice. And it will be the same information that you have in the book currently. The same with the culture poster, managed evolution, etc., etc. So the whole book content will be mapped to the posters. And we do it to really allow you for easier searching, because we imagine not everyone can take the book with you and use it and quickly go through it, especially this is a really huge book. This is more than 500 pages right now. To move with yourself, it's more than 1 kilo. So that's why you can have this book in a handy version, and it's also not PDF, so you don't need to scroll down over these 500 pages. So the very first release will be just mapping the content of the book to the posters. But what you can expect more, and this is something what we plan to release in smaller batches, will be adding some more options. So you will have some advanced filtering, like say you want to see all of the practices from maturity level 5, and you can apply this filter and see all of the practices. Or you want to read about all practices that are related to limiting work in progress, or you want to read everything about culture at maturity level 2. So different levels of filtering, from the very high level filtering to the very low level filtering, like show me practice at maturity level 6, which is about limiting work in progress. Then what's next? We plan to introduce full cross-referencing with indexing, so you can search by the words. So simply the same way you use index in the book, you will ask application, show me information about achievement as a value out of the culture area, and you will have all of the information about achievements. Or you would like to, you will be in the book and you will see in one of the practices reference to another practice, and you will be able to quickly jump between these practices. So it will come later this year. But having this access, the winners, you will be able to see all of the updates immediately when we introduce them. And what is more, having the access to the book in this online version will allow you to see all of the updates that will be introduced by Theodora and by David later. So there is a third release of the book already planned in probably 2 years from now. So it will be Kanban Maturity Model version 3. And you don't need to wait for version 3 of the book to see the updates, because anytime an update will appear, you will have them in KMM Plus. So that's why I really encourage to look at this. It will be also available for you in the free version. Of course, it will not be the full mapping, but if you want to really see what it is, how it works, you would like to try this mapping and clicking on stuff, you can also create a free accounts and test it. Who is behind it? Of course, David and Theodora, our beloved authors of KMM. Also, Todd Little, our chairman of Kanban University. And I'm the technical person, so I'm trying to make it live and put all of this genius stuff that we have in the book to the online version that you can easily use. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Anna. I think this is super interesting information, and I'm really sure that this product gonna be breakthrough. This will be super handy to have everything online with you whenever you go. It's super easy to navigate. You don't need to look for a chapter on the book. You can just click on the poster part and the explanation can appear. And I do believe this is a breakthrough, and I really think it's going to be a Kanban Bible in a modern, like online style. If anyone is interested to know more and to learn more about Kanban, we invite you and we encourage you, well, mostly not for PCPs, definitely, because they know already a lot, but if they want to refresh their knowledge or if they want to know about new approaches, I will show you the video so we can see that. We can offer you online classes, and for all the participants of today's webinar, David G. Anderson School of Management gave us an opportunity to provide a discount, which is 20% off.
I'm David Anderson, and I'm inviting you to join us.
Which will be 20% off for upcoming Kanban for Design and Innovation class, which is going to be held soon by Anna and David. To know more about Kanban, to learn more about applying it, to know more about triage tables approach, to test it and to try it more. Please feel free to contact the training manager or the general, and generally us, David G. Anderson School of Management through the website. Here is Virginia who can questions, and here you can see the special code which you can use to get your 20% discount for our next class. And I'm pretty sure if you're gonna do that, you're gonna love it. And it's going to be super useful. And the class is very, very good quality.
And one more thing from me. So KDA class is equivalent of KSA.
Yep.
The KDA class is equivalent of KSA class. So finishing KSD plus KSDI, you can also earn Kanban Management Professional accreditation. And if you are already KMP, please contact us, Virginia or Lauren or myself, and we can talk about your attendance because for current KMPs, we have a special offer.
Well, from our side, this is it. And we actually would like to thank everyone who was participating with this webinar. We really hope that it was useful. We really hope that that helped. We really hope that you liked to apply Triage and you are really eager to do it in your everyday work. And I think, Vasily, that right now I will pass it to you so you can explain us the rules of after party, or maybe you can raise some topic for discussion.
Yeah, thank you, Diana. Thank you, Anya, for a really great presentation. I think we learned really a lot of cool stuff and we got some gifts. Unfortunately, not myself. Yeah, but it was really fine. So, guys, we're done with the presentation. So we're a bit after our deadline, but if someone has like any questions regarding the presentation or Kanban in general, I believe Anya and Diana are here to help you. So just feel free to ask any questions here or like just raising your voice, let's say, or just on the chat. And if not, you could easily, I believe, reach everyone from our meetup. So the Kanban Poland team, Anya and Diana on LinkedIn and in different social medias, and we'll be able to help you, provide some useful information, yeah, and just chat. And we also encourage you to follow our Kanban Poland page on Meetup for any additional updates, any new meetings, and more knowledge about the Kanban.
Yeah, and I would also like to encourage you to use Kanban Polska, sorry, LinkedIn community.
Yep.
So it's not advertising page, but we really encourage discussions, comments, questions, and make this channel live.
And from my side, I invite everyone to follow the Mauvisoft LinkedIn page. I do think we share very useful content, but if not, you have to tell me. You can easily write to Mauvisoft through the website, as I told you before. So Mauvisoft page in LinkedIn, you're gonna find a lot of useful information there and information about our updates, new functions, because we keep constantly developing it, and I'm pretty sure that we are gonna release something very interesting just soon.
And everything about lead time and cost of delay. This is the source of information.
Definitely. So if anyone wants to ask any question, we are here. You can unmute, switch on the camera. This is the very moment, or write the question in the chat.
I believe there are messages on the chat, but mostly people. Thanks for the presentation. So I believe it was really insightful for us. Yep. Okay.
Hi, Jersey. We don't hear you.
Yep.
Jersey, we need to unmute you.
Yeah. I'm just. I would like to say thank you very much. Goodbye, and I have written this on the chat. So this was the reason you can't hear me. So my preference was for writing. Again, thank you very much.
Thank you very much for taking part. Bye-bye.
Okay, so I believe there is like no important questions or tasks. So if, as I mentioned, if anyone is interested in some help or answering the questions, you can easily use the social media, find us, and reach to us. And thank you, Diana and Anya, one more time for your time today, for spending the afternoon with us. And I hope to see you all soon on our next meetups.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you for inviting us. Thank you, and thanks everyone who took part, who listened, who wrote in chat. Well, I hope you're gonna use it, and I hope you find it useful. And I would like to see you someday again for some meetup, or just for a cup of tea.
Cool. So thank you guys.
Thank you very
much. Have a nice day. Bye.
Thank you.
See you.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye. Bye, Arthur. Bye, Radek. Thanks, Agata.